Hello, Barbara. Thank you so much for being my muse, for allowing me to create in your name and honor, and for holding space for me to share what I see, sense, and feel. Gratitude galore. And if this reading has been made public, please know that it is done so with permission, so you may soar around to receive or release freely anything that you may feel in this inkblot and all that kind of good stuff. All right. So, just a few notes as I was trying to get started. Two things, maybe three, but two for sure. One, I was very teary-eyed, but I felt like it was an emotional release, and I felt like I really wanted a good cry. And then I also felt a little agitated, like things just, I didn't know where to go or what to do, and it took me a few times to get rolling for one, like just to kind of get my words together, like my usual, but for some reason it just seemed like, but I've grounded in and I'm good. And there's a card that came flying out in the pre-shuffle that is cleansing. So it all kind of made sense, and it's very indicative of the coloring of your ink blot. And I'll reveal that in just a moment. I also have here, Barbara, some scribes that kind of come through when I am creating the ink blot in that window versus the scrying window. So I'll take a moment to kind of ramble them off. As always, receive or release freely, as it's more important what you see, sense, or feel. I'm never looking to be right or wrong, but we explore and expand. Okay, so here's your reveal first and foremost. Woo. Let's see. It's beautiful, beautiful ink blot. And then the card that came through in the pre-shuffle that came like flying out. And it just made sense to me. And then the coloring, the way I felt stepping in, like wanting that good cry. And that's how it felt. So while you're gazing to gain there, I will ramble these off. So I have a joy for the future. A youthfulness is here. And something about friends. Youth again came through in regards to aging. Wisdom's changing. Been through a lot. I feel like I'm making a wish. What's hiding? Unicorns return, which brings me back to wisdom's changing, youth, aging, joy for the future. Singing, country, I think it was country music like or esque. A masculine in spirit, a large presence of light. A mother or grand in the afterlife. Reminds me of when I was like a teenager time. Sad butterfly. So there's always, for whatever it's worth, there's like always a time or space, I should say, not necessarily time, between creating of the ink blot and then scrying the ink blot. So even sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, here we are. Mind shadow, mind's shadow. When I wrote unicorns return, I put luck. Like there's a I feel like I had to ponder that. Fairy tale, when a girl goes into a forest and meets a sorcerer, something about temptation, and again, it brings me back into teenager. So I don't know, I will put this in your package in the mail. I don't know if it's about when you were a teenager, or if you have a teenager, or you sense and are sensitive to the collective energy like a teenager, right? Like this abundance of confidence and aggression and passion, but yet without the wisdom or, of experience to place it yet. I mean, we've all been teenagers, so hopefully you know what I'm saying. All right. Okay. I am going to take sorry if the shadowing's there, but it's kind of working out. I'm going to take a moment to open up. You're welcome to join me. You do not have to. I'm going to grab a piece of paper and a pen. Oh my goodness, I'm going to yawn. Apologies. Are you tired? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take a moment here, Barbara. Take a nice deep breath. Drawing in the elixir of life. Closing the eyes, cleansing the palette of perception. Releasing the race in the rush. Activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. In the name and honor of Barbara. Thank you for being my muse. And may you meet a message with meaning. All right. This, just so that you have that cleansing card as a reference. And I even did like I brought my little smudgy out. So maybe you might be in a cleansing state. Or that's how you feel. Car wash, cleansing state. Something, I'm seeing a baby with a soother, and I'm hearing the sound, like, you know, like when a baby would be sucking on a soother. There's dolphins here. And see with that orange. Okay. Orange cauliflower. I don't know if cauliflower means anything to anyone. Kind of looks like a brain, creative brain. Reconnecting with creativity, or again, how it might change, an evolution of one's craft or art or life changes stages. It's like as soon as we get comfortable in high school, then we're either off into the work world or we're, in college or whatever choices we make. And it's like, I just got comfortable there and conquered this. And then, it begins again. I feel like this is you. Like this, my hands are behind my back. Though it's so sweet the way I'm seeing it. It's like my hands are behind my back and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm here for it. Hello. I'm not saying that in like a passive or mocking way. It feels sincere. It feels earnest. And it feels we're at this point. There's a lot of pink and mint green, like mint chocolate chip ice cream with strawberry mixed in. That's how that feels. But I want to note there's this creative energy is coming in. I'm seeing them as a particular animal, but I don't know what it is yet. And maybe I don't need to constipate myself. And this is almost like the shadow aspect of this energy. And it's really quite endearing because they are connected by the top of the head. I might even feel like in that releasing, like something about a burden of the brain. I don't know about this cauliflower thing. There are two, it might be that masculine energy. I don't know if it's a person that you've known in this lifetime or if it's a guide, possibly a birth guide, seeing that baby with the soother. Pebbles and bam bam, pebbles and bam bam. And they're like leaning down to, like, when somebody comes down, they put their hands on their knees and like, how you doing? I feel like this is what this energy is saying to me. How you doing? They also have a baby carrier on the back. And they are talking to your creative birthings in this. Because this connection between the self, maybe you're working through shadow stuff, dark night of the soul. But to be honest with you, you can apply any words, of course, that feels good. And if this resonates at all. But it makes me feel like I am getting an oil change. I'm getting an oil change. And like top of the line oil change. Like from up here, like if that funnel was up here and it's almost like the process of kind of drawing it out I don't know if that also comes from here or somewhere else, but it's like, it's kind of uncomfortable, to feel this being drawn out and just draining. But then when the new oil comes in, it's like, fresh oil. I'm good for 5,000 kilometers. Like, that's what it makes you feel like. I'm seeing that in there. There are, I think, sheepdogs. And, the candle just like went spark, spark. There are, it's another masculine energy. Could be pulling on my heartstrings a little bit. Climbing up. There's this, it's monarch butterfly. Matriarchy, I think this is bringing me back into like the change, the shift. What do I do now? It's like retirement, you know, working and then you're retired. And you're like, retired from what? Retired from maybe doing something that I contractually agreed to that would serve this stage of my life. But it's like now that I'm here or now I'm thinking about it, it's like I'm retiring from one thing, but that doesn't mean I'm retiring from reality. That's the feeling of it. Or even like empty nest syndrome. It's a different retiring from one temporary time of a certain reality. Kids are growing, or when you're a newbie at a job, whatever the case is, and now you're seasoned, you're mature. Your bat wings are very, very bright, and I'm seeing a gargoyle in here with a traditional gargoyle. But if you stop looking at the gargoyle, if the gargoyle means anything to you, follow that. It's about, but it's very protective to me. It implies something outside, like telling the energies outside. But if you follow the gargoyle beyond the concrete, we'll say, mold or sculpture, there's these like light wings that are serving you. And I feel like somehow I'd be seeing this concrete gargoyle fly and not realizing how skilled the light wings are, because it's like it doesn't make sense to me up front. I'm like, you're concrete, you're so heavy, like what's going on? But then there's this lightness in my subconscious space, and I think I'm in my head, because I'm also hearing the Cranberries. What's in your head, zombie. I just want to pop in here to this little green nugget here, because there's something that's coming in, like a piece of earth that wants to receive what you're contemplating for creating. The Two of Leviathans. Yeah, see? It kind of makes me feel like whether it's you and your masculine energy, you and a partner, female, male, and all that kind of good stuff, there's something new like right over there. But I'm acknowledging I kind of feel like we're watching, or I'm watching something. I'm leaving. But by the leaving, it brings me right into the landing. Something about Jasmine. Excuse me. I'm gonna yawn again. I apologize, because I swear, like, I had coffee. Okay, well, it is what it is. And I kind of feel like in here, like this energy right here, if it was like covered in mud, like maybe come out of like a mud pit or a spa, I don't know, imagine anything with mud, and then you come out of like this mud puddle, and you leave a trail of this mud. That's what I feel like I've been through, but I'm getting out of. Maybe it's like a funk, or maybe there's funk energy around you and you sense it and you feel it. Yeah, there's a lock and key in here as well. There's a lock and key. One moment. Emperor and the Seven of Submersibles. It might be your masculine energy. Maybe it is this masculine energy that seems to be very, very prominent in and around your aura. Whoever this may be, birth guide, a guide that you're working with, or somebody that has passed. But it almost feels like even the way coming into the session. Oh my goodness. Okay. Emotional depths. Excuse that my nails are gross. I tried self-care and it lasted for a few days. And there it is. This is the lightness, the lightness of the gargoyle's wings. But there's a navigation of this. The Emperor energy may have something to do with this, but I want to note the cave feeling, and then it brings me back in here seeing things like from this view. And then I'm seeing it like windshield wipers. Windshield wipers. Something about pigtails. When I look at this from a big scope, pigtails. There might have been a karmic knot that you have untied. But it's like I'm still feeling the kink as it's reforming to its open flow, if that makes any sense. I'm seeing these two gloves like this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. There's a light bulb, there's an idea. There's an idea, and there's also, is it an apostrophe? Or you could see as a comma. What was that just like randomly worked? Okay. An apostrophe, maybe it has something to do with writing or speaking. Something about speech as well. So that was like a shepherd dog or a sheep dog I saw down there. Also, Barney Flintstone just stepped in. Up here, I'm seeing like a fluffy kind of dog, like Labradoodle, beige or golden retriever. They're so friendly. Like, I feel like they might even make stuffed animals about this kind of dog or this breed, because it's so kind and comforting. Even maybe like a Shih Tzu or something like that. Okay. This might be interrelation, somebody I had to let go of, seeing them transition. Because I'm seeing somebody laying with their head back, their eyes are closed. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a big fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. There might have been something I tried to fix. Because I'm seeing a woman, it's a woman, feminine energy, anyway. And I've got like this dress on, but it's dripping in water. But there's also this other part of mud. So there might be some sort of heaviness I've had to work through. Or maybe it's in something about a job that I do that carries a lot of like hospice or something like that. Or PSW, social worker. Shaman of Sorrows. Do you know what's interesting, Barbara? The coloring of this card. There we go. Is that a little bit better? It's because I'm sitting in the dark. I like sitting in the dark. To the best of my ability, anyway. The coloring of this card, and there's like a medicine. I don't know if maybe you work in like a nursing field or something like that, or you're just a natural nurturer. But the coloring of this card brings me into this little gremlin here. The bottom. So much compassion and connection. But it's almost like through that I gotta find creative ways to cleanse. I'm gonna say this in the nicest way, but the way I'm hearing it, like the filthy frequencies. And not because they're filthy maybe all the time and like blech, but the very sorrowful ones, the heart-wrenching ones, the things you see or the things you might feel from them. And you know what I mean? I feel like you might have created or continue to create ways to transmute this, even if they're of memories. There's something else I just saw and it fleeted in and out really, really quickly. Do you have 2 dogs in spirit? Well, now I'm seeing another dog. I see lots of dogs. Dogs might mean something to you. loyally speaking, but there's another dog here in like the negative space. This is like, arr, arr. There's another dog over here. There's this dog here. There's the sheep kind of dog down here. Do you work with animals? Maybe just like, even like, it reminds me kind of a friend I have here, Monique, and I think she was like a PSW or a nurse or something along that lines. And if I recall, her husband has some, I don't know if it's Alzheimer's or something like that. Anyway, her energy work that she felt called most to do and work with in relation to, like, and she has sons and all that. Anyway, it's animals. Animals. Physical and metaphysical. Anytime I would see her, even out and about, and I'd be like, you have like a herd of animals with you that almost like those service dogs, they're willing to be of service for you, with you. Just, it's almost like creating calls for each of them, like, or I don't know, certain noises and stuff. And this really might be one of your gifts. It's like Reiki with animals or therapies. Something out of sunfish. There's an owl up here. Oh, there's like a nest up here. I feel like I'm in an oyster. Or a clam. I'm not really sure what the difference is. There's lots of people around you. I'm just not sure in which density threshold they're at. I want to say it's like, maybe it's like empathic energies, dead people, if you work with medium stuff or are working in that air, and you're like, well, how do I find my way of being a medium? What medium would you like to do to channel the messages of the animals, of the people? Or it's just like straight up career. But there's a shift. There's all these conversations. There's a fire. This fire is... Oh, they're pointing up. What is this, like a monk or somebody? Or maybe it's like faith-based. They're wearing like a brown cloak with a rope as a belt. Kind of thing. Anyway, cloaky. And they're like they're like lifting up. Because it's like oh, sorry if this isn't a great way. I'm in the negative space here. It's like pointing up towards this, and then I'm towards the owl, but then it's like I get this big view. I feel like almost like I want to say like a blood transfusion and vitality coming in, receiving. There's a hog, like a wild hog. Is that wild hog with tusks? A duck as well. Oh, am I at the funny farm? I don't know. This is great. There's just, I don't know what they're all meaning to do, but it's like being at some sort of sanctuary or... Okay, so I am suddenly like walking around my local SPCA or a place where, they would take in animals, and to walk through that and, hear all the different animals, see their faces and all the feels. It's almost like overwhelming. Like I can't be here because I want all of them. And I'm being dead serious. Like, I want all of them. So either we're buying this entire thing, this entire operation, or they're all coming home with me, because my heart loves so purely in this place. But then at the same time, I acknowledge it's almost heartbreaking at the same time. The dolphin comes back here when I feel that way. The dolphin comes in. Now the dolphin suddenly wants to pop out of this little pond where there was like dragging mud before. Little did I know that really was making a mark, and over time maybe was making a ledge or a pile so a pond could be formed, or a puddle, so that this dolphin energy can pop through and speak to your emotions down here. Something about blue wings. I'm seeing a pantsuit. It's in a pantsuit. I'm also getting like David Bowie vibes, maybe Queen, that kind of era of rock and roll or music, costume design, tribal markings or depictions of animals and such in design. Okay, sorry, let me add on. This Hunter of Gifts over here brings me right into that space, like I want to insert it. All my cats are outside and I just heard like a little kitten or something. Interesting. Just wanted to make sure. Hunter of Abundance. More of that yellow. And I love it. And what is it? Yeah, na, na, na. Just butter it. Yellow mellow. Just butter it. I don't know. I think I'm seeing a butter commercial. Okay, I can't remember. But this is like the abundance of the gifts here is all these animals. The abundance of animal energies, at least that are stepping forward to me. But it's like walking through, like I said, the SPCA or saving animals. And it's also heartbreaking. There's sorrow. How humanity can hurt. Yeah, with Hunter of Mysteries, it's like, how can humanity hurt? You're so vain. How can they hurt an animal, a person? I don't know. Okay, on the bottom, Shaman of Tradition. It's like this is the way maybe people have always been learning, or I don't know what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even going to try and figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to head up. Just before I get ready to flip it, I'm going to head up there and feeding the fish. There's a Freddy Krueger in here. Freddy Krueger's feeding the fish, though. I don't know if there's something about nightmares or a reoccurring nightmare quite specifically. I feel like it has eased. Because Freddy Krueger's feeding the fish, like he's taking a chill pill or whatever the case is. We wander up here to this conversation. Whether it's the art or the words that stand out to you, but active love, objectivity. I'm seeing like the doctor. He's my doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. could also be like depressive energies. If there's like, if you, I don't know why I keep wanting to refer to where you work, or maybe where you did work, or what. Do you know what might be a nice way of saying it? And I don't mean nice, I mean nice for me to release trying to put it somewhere. Just acknowledging that your essence works with other energies, and again, very empathically speaking, where, you know, medicine and interaction and lots of feelings. And like just being. Like, that's what I mean by work, I think, in some way, shape, or form too. Like, this is just how you operate. This is how you interact with existence. And you're kind of like this, I don't know, holistic doctor of sorts. Doling out medicines. Care. Nutrients. And it also could be this masculine energy and spirit that helps deliver you, like to check in on you, your wellness, your wants, what you're creating, what you wish to create, and to help keep you on that path. Compass. This is you, to keep you on this path, which may seem mysterious in this shift, but I feel like when these ideas come up, I get really nervous, or I'm like, oh, I don't know. Or I overthink it so much I end up shutting it down. I could also be grieving, cleansing through things. This blessing is back in. Something about like Scrooge from the Christmas Carol. Maybe you get visitations. You know what's really interesting here? What's this card? Perfection. You have masculine, feminine. Masculine, feminine. Oh, she's writing stuff down here. Did we talk about writing stuff down? Yeah, there was like that colon, comma, whatever it is. There is something very specifically that I'm seeing on the bottom, backstory. There might be something about you writing your experiences. Writing your experiences of how you play with the animals, like what's your process of things, or writing a manual if you're, working at a doctor's office or something like that. It's like, well, how do you do what you do? Like before you go on vacation, or maybe if you're retired or switching jobs, they're like, can you write down how you do what you do? To give them some leverage or some help, so that their transition is smoother. And then, but I do want you to know that I feel like there's plenty of people here, at least from the spirit side of it. They might be very physical, I'm not sure, but it's coming. I can just feel their spiritual energy that are here to help you reach whatever your objective is. But it's in like choosing the objective, and not, I almost feel like I keep cleansing myself of it. It's like putting skin cream on and then washing it off. I'm like, I'm doing this good thing, I'm putting this skin cream on for nourishment, but then I wash it off afterwards. Whatever you need. They're ready. These two masculine energies are ready. Whatever you need. They both have things. Different tools. This could be your masculine energy as well. Okay. All right. I'm going to flip it. Oh my. Okay. It's a very large being. Arms open. It's a prestigious energy. Prestige. I feel like my mouth was kind of taped shut for a while, or I didn't say anything, couldn't say anything, chose not to say anything, couldn't say anything. Almost like, what is that thing called? Non-disclosure agreement or something along that lines. This energy I want to like plop in as wine stopper or a cork, but it's made of glass. A missing piece is coming in, a missing piece. It's gonna make me yawn again. Somebody like gasp for air. Something's going to fall into place. And then I also heard Patsy Cline fall into pieces. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing this, but I was once doing this, and now I'm doing this. My red roots, like I'm in my root space for sure. Oh, sorry. And I'm connecting or communicating with my sacral area. I'm still in my head though. Still in my head about it. I'm leaning back and laughing. Feels like a partner or friend. There's a cat now. I don't know if it's like a black cat or a panther. Jaguar maybe. It's definitely a black cat. That's nibbling at the back of my neck. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm seeing an old grate. In old houses, I'm seeing my grandma's house. So maybe from the 60s, 50s or 60s, I'm not sure. And the heat grates in their house might have been early. I don't know when their house was built. But their grates were big, like for heat vents, and they were like metal, but ornate. So now as I'm seeing it that way, I'm seeing it in more modern times where they're like thinner, but it's like a metal one, or it looks metal anyway, and it has like a design in it. It's not just the standard slits. Like there's a design in it. There's something about ventilation and air. Like I want to take some large deep breaths here. Angel of love is coming through. Oh, there's a gentleman with a beard. It's white beard. It's a white beard. Maybe blue eyes. I will bring you in here. He's in this space here. Oh, you might not be able to see him. Sorry, angel of love. See the beard? Must be Santa. Must be Santa. Must be Santa. There's the blue eye. There's the nose, the mouth. Santa, Santa Claus. I think he's past. This person feels past. Grandpa, partner, father, not sure who he is. They communicate. They're very close with you in communication. But it's like coming through that grate or vent. Something about your pineal gland, or that's the way pineal gland is coming through. Oh my goodness, I'm like just smitten with this little character here. I think I'm like a porcupine that got a haircut in a mohawk, and I'm talking to something that lives around barks and sticks. It's some sort of insect. And it's like, look at my haircut. I got a haircut. I got a haircut. This porcupine is quite proud of this haircut. It's pretty cool. It's like a little boy porcupine. Got a pretty cool haircut. Almost to the point like where this friend, like this insect, I almost want to call it like one of those stick bugs, doesn't reckon. It's like, who are you? Who's this? And this energy is like, look at me. Look at me. I got a haircut. I got a haircut. It's kind of refreshing, like new haircut. Who dis? Even like to like dead ends off the hair, like, you know, could trim them out and get rid of them and feel lighter. Yeah, because then see all these dancers. There's like fire dancers around you. I don't know what's going on in here yet, but I love it. I love it. Something about croquet as well, or tunnel system. There's a Humpty Dumpty again. Still a Humpty Dumpty even on this side. But this time Humpty Dumpty is sitting on the wall and there is an energy helping him stay up. But he keeps wanting to lean forward. Oh, sorry. Lean forward. And this energy is like, it's almost like having a concussion. It's like, stay awake, stay awake, stay awake. All tied up. Oh, this is okay. Look at the coloring of this card. It's so mystically beautiful. Didn't we kind of make that face earlier on? Like, wonder if it's like the empath energy that feels tied up, bound up, bung up. Something about 2 hoop earrings. Iron. An iron. This feels like a furnace. The thinking woman. You also have this perfection one here. Taking notes. And then the compass. It's almost like a dream dictionary or a dream journal. Or I'm taking, you know, even if I'm like texting myself something, it's like, oh, I'm just texting myself the animals I saw today, and it all makes sense by the end of the month or the week, the year even. There's all this looking. It's like, in all these different ways. Yeah, that's exactly the way I'm seeing it. So, just looking. It was like a Hostiles or hostilities? I think you've with the coin money, I don't know if there's money stresses or non-money stresses, and you have to protect your money, protect your things. tell me more about that as I'm wandering down here? Because what's interesting is I'm actually flowing down. Oh, I see you. Okay. I'm floating down like the chocolate river or a chocolate waterfall in Willy Wonka. And I don't know if there's something that the best way I can describe it is I come down into this furnace of sorts, or this inferno. Okay, here's the best example I can think of. It's like working at a retirement home or an old age home or PSW social work. And you just see and hear in things. And when people, or like being a lawyer, will and testaments, and then you see families squabble over stuff of someone they loved. This is like with that hostilities and love. And maybe love or relationships, whatever the case may be, has been a hostile environment. Fair enough. But I'm just seeing it in this way where maybe that's how I grew up seeing it. Protect your things, taking your things and go, or people coming to clean out apartments, or like being a landlord of an apartment. And you just see people always coming and going. It's, even like being like a babysitter. And the kids grow up. Like the empty nest or the retirement, the kids grow up and then they go. They don't need you anymore. Or at least that's the myth. Can't say that it's true. Anyway, in the one example that I probably wandered away from, it's like seeing that and saying, I have to watch these people or these families. They do feel external, but maybe you've seen them in your own life. And when maybe some sort of greed over things, I feel like many times I just have to walk away. Like it's none of my business, because it's not the will and testament or the last wishes, or it's still just viewing it, because you can feel, at least that's how way I'm feeling, is that you feel it. So I got to get really creative how to cleanse it. Destiny, abundance, and ecstasy. This is the second time abundance has come through for you. I think there's abundance of activity around you. You might also be a survivor of something. Well, you're here, so you're surviving. But this feels like a survive into a thrive in. But into this ecstasy. Oh, that's exactly how it's like, through this cleansing, creative cleansing, moves from this to this. And it moves from that to that. Like it's again, there's somebody in spirit that keeps stepping forward. He helps you harvest in the best way possible. He's not with the hostiles or the energies. He helps you receive the most nutrients from any of these energies or emotions. But this is how I feel right now in your energy. The all giver. I feel that I've given my all. People, places, or things, jobs, whatever the case is, I have given my all. And now I'm going to stand in my space of self. I don't want to say allow, but I want to embrace receiving. And there's a chance, for one reason or another, I may not be able to expect to receive from those around me because they're not qualified yet, or they can't give me what I need. But somebody and somebody's in spirit know how to provide for you to do whatever it is that you want to do in this, like, this cornucopia feel that I feel like this is like right there. I might be weaving the basket, growing the apples and the oranges and the grapes, or collecting them from different sources, and that is a journey. But I will be able to put it on the table and present it for like Thanksgiving and be really, really grateful for all the different people at my table, or the different energies, spirit, and different densities. Something about behavior just popped through as well. Yeah, the dolphin things are like fishes that are coming back in, like that real Piscean vibe. Like Pisces. I have so much in my mind here. But there's so much life and death. Kind of gives me, again, like that psychopomp or hospice kind of feel. And this might be just of energies, or this could be an actual thing that you do and understand. The cave of incubation. This cave is coming back from the beginning with the two of Leviathans. This motion, this space, this view. No, it's there. It is an ecstatic view. Ecstasy view. Maybe it's even like just taking a vacation sometimes and changing the view. But then I come into like this inferno fire. Even with this hostility, it's like I will not shame that I love hard and like play hard. The warrior within me will defend and fight for what I love. Make no mistake that this is a passive energy. Gold and yellow dragonfish. Now I'm seeing like a bearskin rug in this inferno of transmuting life and death. Furs, like fur. Desires, bearer of love. Desires and destiny are aligned. Those, if there's a hint one's looking for, those are it. Wherever the desires and the destinies collide. Sun and moon feel again, or masculine and feminine, which we've had a few times. It's even in here. Something about my throat as well, my throat chakra. And see how beautiful in this card, like the heart is just like peeled open. If this is feminine, there's these masculines again in front. There's 3 females over here. Shadow and shine, like stepping out into this fate that you are weaving, like that basket of cornucopia. The cornucopia basket from the inside out, from the inside out. Bearer of love. There's so much love around you. While I want to say, like the sun and the moon, and you know, the shadow and the shine, it's almost like in that Desire card and seeing this furnace kind of sitting here, but then this beautiful door inventive and inventive ideas. Maybe you're inventing something. The cycle of life and death, the cycle of the wheel, which I could say a fortune because you have so much abundance here. You're very fortunate, very, very fortunate. And I feel like I know that, or at least I'm here, I'm like, I am so fortunate and I am so grateful that I can see that. I see the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the gray. But every so often, it's like going and like dry brushing the dead skin cells off you. There's so many weird noises in my office here. It's wild. Okay. Anyway. Closing out messages for Barbara. There's so many noises too outside. I don't know what's going on. Not the deck? Okay. Let's wander over here as we're getting ready to close out. All right. I hope this has been enjoyable. A fun explore and experience. Closing out messages for a leapfrog, a pig on a spit, people coming to see this raise up, kind of like this, like all these people here, rise up, rise up. There's help, big and small, big and small. Closing out messages for Barbara, building blocks. It's almost like bigger or smaller house. It doesn't really matter. Your house is where your heart is. It's like you're the living embodiment of like home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. The war has reached a critical point between Atlantis and Mu. This might be that hostile energy you feel. Heartbreak, heart throbs and heartbreaks. What was I doing a minute ago? Yesterday's truth and heavy. And I'll be honest with you, that's kind of how it feels like when I read that. And I'm like, you know what? That was yesterday. And not in this way of like for going out like, oh, I'm not accountable to yesterday. That's not what I'm saying. This feels like yesterday was heavy. And some form of cleansing in one way, shape, or another. Card 7. Maybe it's something you do once every 7 hours. You take a breath. Maybe once every 7 days you take a salt bath, or you go for a walk and you release the heavy. Because you have a big heart, and sometimes those big hearts can become heavy when we feel so deeply, so authentically, so earnestly, so beautifully. Orders, there's nothing you can do. It's like the orders will always come in, like being a waitress, and they never end. Or reminds me of my days working within the courier mail business. And it's like, the mail will never end. Like the mail, there will always be packages, there will always be letters. With life, there will always be death. With heart throbs, there will be heart aches. And even in this like card depicted here, with the trying to saw the yin yang or yin yang, depending on how you do it, it's like you can only fulfill so many orders in your day, your week, or make time for, while maintaining a balance for you, so you don't reach critical point. Also, maybe given in some point in time, at least in this energy, there was somebody that might have been in critical care. pawn, maybe chess. I feel like at some point in time, I might have just, oh, this whole deck is upside down, been just taking orders from people feeling like there's nothing I can do. That's very disempowering to feel that for a moment. And then it's like, they think there's nothing I can do. Yes, I can. And then I get to work. I'm like, it might be move by move. You see further ahead. That hog comes back in. That hog comes back in, whispering things in my ear. One step by one step, one breath by breath. You know what to do. And if anyone has made me feel like there is nothing I can do. Now, I will say on one aspect, it feels like if somebody has passed, there's something very, very heavy around me at this moment. If I go down this rabbit hole, it's like somebody has passed. We feel like we have no control, that there's nothing I can do about this, and that we're all just pawns in a fish of no control. We're just taking orders from nothing, and we don't know. It's a heavy thought. Maybe at some point in time you have felt these burdens. You feel this from the collective. I can't say enough of how much empathic energy I feel around you. Or something that you have been through that's just like, I can't do this anymore. As above, so below. Oh, that's not helpful at all. As above, so below. And so I start listening to spirit more. The spirit of things. These animals. The spirit animals. Power animals. Reiki. Life force energy. I don't know what it is. And I start listening to that to help fuel me and cleanse. It's like taking a smoke bath. Or doing not only, water cleanses, but maybe smoke cleanses. Breathing. But there's definitely somebody here that wants me to like lift you up. I still don't understand. And I don't know that we will understand it all, in this definitive, concretely way. Why did this happen? Why did they have to leave? Why did they get sick? Why can't they stay? Or why can't the babies stay babies forever when they're so cute and then they grow up to be teenagers and we're not as cute anymore? It kind of has that feeling. It's like, I understand, but I still don't understand. But by embracing that, it like turns the thermostat changes. Cool and hot, because I feel like I'm seeing something through like one of those heat detectors, what's hot, what's cool, like the temperatures of rooms. That's what it's making me feel like, what's hot, what's cold. And maybe the way you grew up, or there's situations that you've been in that have felt like you have to scan the environment, the energies, the people, to be like, what's hot, what's cold, what's safe, what's not, who's who. And that's very indicative of empaths and how they navigate due to maybe growing up with traumas or just, unpredictable behaviors and feeling unseen or invisible, but at the same time utilizing that to one's advantage, because it's like scanning temperatures, what's safe, what's not safe. Hot, cold. Okay. Barbara, I hope this did serve. Hope this did inspire. No trips without a tripper. Love it. I hope this did serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. I am so, so grateful for this time we have spent together. I hope that you feel my hug and you feel my love. And for what you do for the world, what you do that every time you do that thing you do. Until next time, thank you. So much love.